Hey y'all, I'm Derek, and welcome back to 31 Days of Found Horror. So today, for the second to last movie, we're going back to seeing our old friends at EnterViral Media. We've seen them before on the show. They're the ones that made The Rake, The Asylum, Dance with the Devil, which they also have on their channel as a Jeff the Killer movie. So this is their fourth movie we've seen on this show. It's only 42 minutes long, so let's get started. I didn't know what to expect, but I'm pretty sure I didn't expect that. So we begin with the Providence. In winter of 2009, 3 people go missing. A few days later, 3 bodies are found that are completely mutilated, and the only way they can be identified is by DNA testing. And then, there was also 4 cameras found by the bodies, and this is the footage. So it cuts to December of 2009, and we see Ken Collins. Oh, Kenny, it's so nice to see you again. You're like an old friend by now. He's named John in this movie, and he's just moved into this brand new house that he was able to afford because his entire family died and he sold off their entire estate. Dark, but okay. He got a 5,000 square foot house for $150,000, even though the house had been basically empty for 15 years. I don't think that was such a good idea. You could have talked him down. This is why you really need to talk to a good realtor. And basically he bought this camera because he wants to record the kids who are breaking into his garage to steal his beer. Yes, this entire movie starts because someone keeps stealing his Bud Light. You know, we go into his garage, there's so many other things that could easily be stolen and, you know, are actually worth more than Bud Light. If you're gonna steal beer, at least make it a good quality beer. That's all I gotta say. So he's showing us around his house, and it's the middle of the night. He doesn't have all the lights on, but he really needs to learn about color correct because the lights are giving off a really ugly yellow light, and so it's all tainted this snot yellow. So he goes into the garage, he shows us that there's a bunch of crap in the garage, and he opens the fridge and says, see, all the beer's gone. Or it could be that you're not actually of legal age, so you can't actually buy beer. It cuts to later, and he walks into the garage, and the refrigerator's open. So of course he asks, is anybody there? And he hears a gurgling groan like, so of course he nopes out of there. I'm going to say this now, this movie is completely a Scooby-Doo investigation. He goes to investigate these things, and then he just runs away. I'm surprised David Cassidy's not playing in the background, and they do the whole running through doors bit, because it's literally, do, who's there? That's the entire movie. So he calls his friend Sam to bring over a night vision camera so that he can actually document what is going on in the garage. And of course, our good friend Kenny can't stop talking. He has a pressure of speech, I swear. So they set up the shot and they go watch TV till they pass out. And then it cuts to the alien coming into the garage, and oh my god, this alien. Which of their friends did they get to wear this cat suit and skull cap? It's literally a guy in a cat suit and skull cap, and you can see his hair outside the skull cap. Oh my god, it's great. And so the alien goes through the fridge and then leaves. And during this whole thing, I can't help but think, so this is all because the alien is bogarting some beer? Really? First of all, get a better brand, and second of all, just move the location of the beer. Or, you know, lock the garage. So they changed the location of the camera so we can actually see the garage door open. So the next night, cut to night vision again, the alien opens the door of the garage, and he's standing up. That's important because every other time you see this alien, he is crouching down. You're made to believe that all he can do is crouch and crawl. But he stands up to open the garage, then gets on all fours, crawls to the fridge, opens the fridge, throws a few things out, and then walks out again. This is the most inconsiderate alien ever. It's not like he's trying to investigate anything, he's just throwing crap around. I really wouldn't mind the alien living in my house, but he's such a nuisance. He keeps throwing everything out of my fridge. He should have just let it be. Put like gummy stuff in this fridge if he wants to keep doing this, and let him just throw things out to his heart's content. Nothing else would have happened. And it's 7:30 a.m., which apparently people in these movies think is really, really early. Because Ken wakes up and says, I wouldn't be up this early except I want to check the footage. Okay, I want everybody to sound off in the comments. What time do you wake up in the morning? I'm up at like 5:36 every morning. But there are so many of these movies that people complain that they're up at 7:30, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and they can't believe they're up so early. Am I the freak or are they the freak? He's checking the film. The footage, by the way, is on a videotape camera. For those of you who aren't as old as I am, back in the day, video cameras you got at home actually had VHSs you had to record on. So you had to put the VHS into the camera and then press record. They're somehow watching this footage on a laptop. Seem to be missing a few steps here. So Sam suggests they bring in his friend Mike to bring over his Ouija board so they can try contacting something. You can see it's a physical entity. Ouija boards are for spirits. It's literally called a spirit board. Why do you need a Ouija board? So they think it's ghosts? I don't know what's going on anymore. So Mike just comes in, barges into the house. He's like, hey, I'm here. Do people do that? Nobody just walks into my house. You have to ring the bell. And then I properly ignore you, as God intended. Then Ken explains that he's not comfortable with the Ouija board because he did some Googling on the house and it said it was halfway burnt down because the previous owner was doing witchcraft and this is witchcraft. Then why is it about an alien? You literally set this movie up. You called this movie Gray Alien. Why are you doing this witchcraft mumbo jumbo? So Mike is trying to explain the Ouija, but he's not really selling it. He's like, oh, it's completely safe, but it's not really safe. You never know. It all depends on what you bring into it, but it's completely not safe. Sell it, baby, sell it. You're here for one thing. And you're not selling it. Well, then it cuts to a title card that says, after a few minutes of doing the Ouija, Mike just runs out of the house and doesn't want any more footage used of him. I honestly think that he just didn't want any more footage used of him because he's the alien. So now it's just Sam and Kenny and they're Googling the house and Sam finds something about a few hundred yards away. There was another house back in the early 1900s that was actually a cult leader's house and it got burnt down because the cult was sacrificing kids. Okay. Then they hear something in the attic. Ooh, I don't have an attic, but I'm just pointing ominously. Ooh. So they grab the night vision camera and Ken goes into the attic and looks around and they see the catsuit alien guy just sitting there chilling like, sup? Ken does a Scooby-Doo and nopes out of there. At which point they call Mike's friend, who's a paranormal investigator, to go investigate this house in the woods. And along the way, it changes from a house in the woods to a mental institution. And they get to the property, and it's obviously the back end of the compound they went to in the asylum. And it's so spooky that people have been able to graffiti all over it. And it's pretty obvious that people have been going to this place to skateboard. Just saying. And then they hear a screech. And they're like, ooh, let's go. The screech is literally the screech of a sick goat. So they go looking and they find a tunnel. And they go into the tunnel. And all I really was looking forward to at this point is Tim Curry's big head showing up going, go now, for if you stay, you will lose your little minds in my dead lights. Like all the others. You know, proper melodramatic crap. And then they see the alien and cue the David Cassidy, they run in the opposite direction. And it cuts to a gazebo out in the middle of a field and Ken looks up through the gazebo at the sky and says, if I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord tell me which path to take. And then we hear the sick goat scream again and it goes black. And it goes black for a long time and I start wondering, is this it? Yeah, that's it. That's the end of the movie. Roll credits. A whole lot of nothing happened in this movie. It really did. It was just a whole lot of nothing. I will give them credit, they kept the creature in the dark because they knew it looked like crap. But truthfully, this whole thing would have been avoided if Ken just locked his garage. All in all, out of the 4 we've seen from EnterViral films, this made the second least amount of sense. This one that didn't make sense at all was Dance with the Devil. It was an alien movie that they decided to investigate as a ghost movie, and they went to a mental asylum that was supposed to be a cult leader's house. They couldn't keep their story straight. It was just a little bit convoluted, but, you know, good for them. Ken, I don't know what you're doing anymore because you haven't seemed to post anything in like 3 years, but you know what? You put something out into the world. So that's it for this penultimate episode of 31 Days of Found Horror. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for tuning in. And come back tomorrow for one more found footage nightmare.